fine level.
Discovery, roger. Go for deploy. And everybody in the shuttle program, the crew is go for launch. Roger. Nice to be in orbit. We have followed in their footsteps to get us where we are today.
Ignition, reaches full power, and liftoff. Go Falcon, go NASA, go Crew-11.
Together we rise as NASA's SpaceX Crew-11 heads up to the International Space Station.
Vehicle is pitching downrange.
1.7 million pounds
Stage
of
1
thrust,
propulsion is nominal.
propelling Falcon 9 as the vehicle pitching downrange and making its way up the East Coast, and will soon join Expedition 73 aboard the orbiting laboratory.
Good afternoon and welcome to NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida. I'm Antonia Jaramillo and you are watching the post-launch news conference for NASA's and SpaceX's Crew-11 mission. At 11:43 a.m. Eastern Time today, Crew-11 launched aboard SpaceX's Crew Dragon and Falcon 9 rocket from Launch Complex 39A. Crew-11 is now on their way to the International Space Station, and joining us in the room to speak with us about this mission and the next steps are Ken Bowersox, Associate Administrator for NASA's Space Operation Missions Directorate, Stich, Manager for NASA's Commercial Crew Program, Dana Weigel, Manager for NASA's International Space Station Program, Kazuyoshi Kawasaki, Associate Director General at the Space Exploration Center at JAXA, and Sarah Walker, Director with Dragon Mission Management at SpaceX. This group of experts will be taking questions here in the room and also over the phone. But before we jump to the question and answer portion, each of our panelists have some opening remarks, and we'll begin with Ken.
Thanks, Tony. Hey, welcome everybody. What a great launch today. I'm glad we got to see it together. Yesterday we were really close. We had some clouds come in at the last minute. Today we had some more clouds building as we got close to launch time. I think it was a great reminder that we don't control everything in the space business, and that sometimes good fortune helps a lot, and timing just works out so that you can launch your mission. But that wouldn't happen without excellence on the part of the teams that make it possible. I was so proud to see our team from SpaceX, NASA, our international partners from Roscosmos, JAXA, all of our interagency partners that help support these missions, doing their jobs to make it possible so that when the opportunity opened up right there at T0, we were able to launch. Now we've got an international crew headed to the International Space Station. 10, 12 hours from now, they'll be docking with the station. They'll join the crew that's on orbit. They'll hand over they'll learn as much as they can about the station from that crew. And then we'll switch our emphasis to bringing home Crew 10 sometime, we hope, next week if weather and hardware cooperate. And now I'd like to turn the microphone over to Steve Stich to share a little bit more from the Commercial Crew Program.
Yeah, thanks, Ken, and thank all of you for your support and interest in the Crew-11 mission. I would say I got reacquainted with Florida weather in the afternoons from my time in the Space Shuttle program where we would try to launch in the afternoons. And it was a pretty challenging couple of days. As Ken said, we got a little unlucky yesterday. We had one cloud that formed over the SLF yesterday, moved toward the pad, started on the coast near Pad B, and then took us out of the count yesterday at the very last minute. And then today, again, we reviewed the weather after the scrub yesterday and decided we would give today a shot. We knew we would have some challenges with launch weather. The abort weather today was within limits. Originally, the forecast a few days ago was not good for today, but winds were within acceptable limits in the staging region and up the coast. We watched a few thunderstorms roll through the staging area, but then those passed through and it was all clear. And then the focus was launch weather. And we really got very lucky today, I would say, to have, I was just looking at a shot on my phone, a view from Falcon 9 looking down, and you could see the launch pad was kind of in a little, it was almost like a horseshoe of clouds, and the launch pad was in the center of that horseshoe. Of course, our weather rules are set up to avoid triggered lightning And so we followed our weather rules, and the range weather officer and our weather team did a phenomenal job of watching the weather down to the last minute, and we got off just on time. Falcon 9 performed great all the way uphill. No issues really with Falcon 9 on the first or second stage. Dragon was inserted into the nominal orbit. We got the nose cone open on Dragon. We did the checkout of the forward bulkhead Dracos. We've already executed one of the phasing maneuvers for the mission just about 30 minutes ago. There's another phasing maneuver coming up this afternoon at about 3:30 Eastern. This is a real short phasing case, is what we would call it, and so we have quite a few burns today. The docking time is the same as yesterday. Yesterday was what we would call a longer phasing case. This particular journey is about 15 hours from launch to dock. The crew's doing well. You could see they were very excited on the way uphill, and they're doing well on orbit. They'll get some time off before we start the final rendezvous sequence, and that'll start tomorrow morning at about 1:24 a.m. Eastern with the first big burn to come inside the ellipsoid for station. That's called the approach initiation burn. And then we plan to dock at about 3 a.m. Eastern, so we're really looking forward to getting the crew to station. And then once we get safely docked, we'll turn our attention to bringing Crew 10 home, and the earliest undock opportunity would be about the 6th of August. So again, lots of fun with weather over the last few days. We lucked out a little bit and found a good opportunity to launch today. And I can't thank the team enough, the Commercial Crew Program team, the SpaceX team, working with the International Space Station Program, our international partners, in particular JAXA and Roscosmos, FAA partnership, the Eastern Range, Space Force, the U.S. Coast Guard, and all the other parts of the Defense Department that we work with. So congratulations to all those people, and we'll focus now on docking. I'll turn it over to Dana.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Steve and the Commercial Crew Program, and also Sarah and the SpaceX team for their diligence and tireless work. A lot of effort went into getting the vehicle ready and getting us ready for the successful launch today. I'm very grateful. I'd also like to thank our international partners and the space station team. It takes a lot of work to put together these long-duration missions. There's awful lot of effort that goes into the cargo and the resupply and the research that we need to put on board, and also the other vehicles that we prepare in order to supply space station. So huge thanks for getting us set up well for Crew-11's long-duration stay. And thank you all for being here today. I appreciate your interest in our mission. As Steve mentioned, we've got short phasing. Docking is going to be early tomorrow morning around 3 a.m. Eastern time. We're looking forward to having Zena, Mike, Oleg, and Kimiya on board with us. When Crew-11 arrives, we will have 11 people on board space station. Crew-11 and Crew 10 will do 3 full days of handover with each other. They'll walk through emergency procedures on board. They'll make sure they're familiar with where all of the emergency equipment is in the different modules. And then they'll do familiarization with equipment that the crew commonly uses, like the toilet, like exercise equipment. They'll also transfer, we've got critical research that we fly up in freezers on the Crew Dragon, so they'll take that research and they'll transfer that over. So a handful of other things go on during the docked handover time frame, and of course, Crew 10 getting ready to come home is another big part of that. As Steve mentioned, Crew 10's earliest departure will be August 6th. After Crew 10 leaves, Johnny Kim, who has been on board for a few months, will continue the handover with Crew 11 to give them the rest of the familiarization that they need. During Crew 11's long-duration stay on board, they'll conduct research that's key for us for our follow-on missions to the moon and to Mars, and that will also benefit life here on Earth. Some highlights for you. They'll do some human research that's going to help us better protect human health for longer and longer duration missions. They're also going to do simulated lunar landings in a region that mimics the South Pole. This is the region that we're planning for our Artemis missions. The goal of the study is to really understand how the disorienting effects of microgravity impact piloting and landing. And then we'll take that feedback and we'll put that into our planning for tools and aids for the crew. The other interesting research they're going to do is related to bodily fluid shifts and damage that some of our crew members experience in the eye that affects their vision. We're going to be using vitamin B supplementation to see if that helps with swelling in the back of the eye and if it minimizes the eye conditions that can impair vision. And we'll also be looking at thigh cuffs to see if that helps with the overall shift of fluids in the body. As I mentioned in the pre-launch briefing, we've got a number of resupply missions that are critical for bringing up the cargo and also for supporting the research that we plan to do on board. At the end of August, we've got the SpaceX 33 Dragon resupply mission. Mid-September, Northrop Grumman or NG-23 cargo mission. In late fall, JAXA has an HTV-X mission. On the Roscosmos side, there is a Progress cargo vehicle flying in September. And then there is a Soyuz crew exchange in late November or early December. I'd also like to mention that in November, with Crew-11 on board, we are going to celebrate 25 years of continuous human presence on the International Space Station. That's an amazing, amazing accomplishment, and we couldn't do it without the extensive partners that we have across other NASA programs, across our international community, across our industrial-based. Huge, huge, huge kudos to that team for getting us to where we are today. And with that, I will pass it on to Kawasaki-san.
Thank you, David. Thank you for being here. My name is Kazuyoshi Kawasaki, Associate Director General of JAXA. I'm in charge of the JAXA human spaceflight and exploration. First, on behalf of JAXA, I'd like to sincerely express my gratitude to NASA and SpaceX, and not here, Roscosmos, and international partners and all the members on the ground who have devoted to the Crew-11 launch and the continuous ISS operation. So as already mentioned, the Crew Dragon was launched into orbit as planned, and I'm truly impressed to see that such a spectacular launch. While the crew were on their way to the International Space Station, I'd first like to congratulate all of you and the successful launch. I look forward to seeing their smiling faces on the ISS soon. And I'm very proud of that Japanese astronauts have been flying on the Operation Crew Dragon spacecraft on 6 consecutive flights. And Japanese astronauts have been staying at the International Space Station almost every year since its completion in 2011. And I believe this is brought by the close cooperation and having cultivated between the US and Japan for years through the ISS program. And I truly appreciate the time and effort of the international partners, including NASA, Roscosmos, that has made it happen. And this is astronaut Kimiya's second flight. And following his mission in 2015, I expect Kimiya will play a key role by making most of his flight experience in his previous flight and also by receiving knowledge from the other astronauts, especially IS Commander Takuya Onishi, to create a crew outcome which is dispensable to our life on the Earth and the future exploration. For example, missions are planned to support space exploration, such as technology demonstration of aimed at developing smaller and more efficient carbon dioxide removal systems, enabling sustained exploration activity in future. In addition, we'll continue to pursue the scientific achievement and promote the expansion of the commercial use, so that there's will be no gap between ISS and the post-ISS era. So Japan is also planning to launch the next generation cargo vehicles, that is HTV-X for ISS. Soon, the first model of the HTV-X will be launched to deliver supplies to the ISS. Through some improvement from the previous HTV system, it will be possible to deliver more cargo to ISS. Kimiya captured HTV Control 5, that is HTV's name, during his previous stay in 2015. If HTV-X1 arrives at the ISS during his stay, I believe that Kimiya will be capturing HWX-1. He also says that he's eagerly looking forward to capture that. I'm also very much looking forward to the HWX-1 mission. Lastly, tremendous honor that two Japanese astronauts, Takuya Onishi and Kimiya Yui, who just gone up to the IS, can undertake a back-to-back and long-duration missions. This marks the third time that two Japanese astronauts have stayed on the ISS at the same time. Although this dual stay will be very brief, I believe it reflects Japan's continuous contribution to the operation and utilization of ISS since astronauts first began living aboard the ISS 25 years ago. Other strong and long-standing corporate relationship we have built with international partners. JAXA remains fully committed to international cooperation in human space exploration, not only through the Artemis program, but also by an ongoing effort in low Earth orbit, including ISS and its successor programs. Finally, I'd like to share the Kimiya message. Kimiya says he wishes to engage in this mission with the key message of believe in bright future and take on new challenges. We here share the same sentiment and intend to support his endeavors and hope for their success. I deeply honored to witness this historic moment with you. Once again, congratulations on this success flight. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kawasaki-san. What an exciting day to be here with you, just watching Falcon 9 launch Dragon, Crew-11 to the International Space Station a little over an hour ago. This past May, we celebrated the 5-year anniversary of Bob and Doug and launching on the Demo 2 mission, which only feels like yesterday to so many of us on this panel. And today we launched our 19th human spaceflight mission, almost 5 years to the day from when Bob and Doug safely returned to Earth after their 63-day mission, returning human spaceflight capability to the United States. Zena, Mike, Oleg, and Kimiya, if you're watching this, you'll actually be docking tomorrow on that 5-year anniversary in the very same spacecraft that Bob and Doug flew 5 years ago. While we're on fun facts about this Dragon spacecraft, it's also a spacecraft that holds the record for the most time in orbit by any American spacecraft, both the single mission record, which is 235 days, that was Crew-8, and the cumulative record, which is 700 days and counting. I think after this mission, it will be nearing 1,000 days. We've collectively achieved so much in those 5 years. We've safely flown 74 crew members to space, some of them repeat flyers and some of them new to spaceflight, welcoming new countries to the list of spacefaring organizations and nations, creating greater access to space for more of humanity with missions like Inspiration 4, Polaris Dawn, From 2, and the private astronaut missions to the space station, flying critical research and supplies to help maintain an ongoing presence in space that Dana was talking about, and so much more. It was unfortunate to have to pause the count with just over a minute left yesterday, but the safety of the crew and all those involved in the operation is our top priority, and today was a better day to fly. Although just barely, I want to say that that horseshoe of clouds closed within a couple of minutes of T0, but it's good to get them safely to orbit. We fly when we're ready, and we fly when the conditions are right, always. Today we saw Falcon 9 perform nominally throughout the count, and teams have now shifted to supporting the series of burns to catch up with ISS, concluding with docking with the space station early tomorrow morning. Then next week, we will return Crew-10 to Earth, which has been on board the last several months conducting critical science and technology that will soon be continued by their Crew-11 teammates. And then finally, in a few weeks, we will launch CRS-33, our first ever long-duration cargo mission full of critical research and supplies, but also a boost module in the Dragon trunk to perform a station reboost. So I look forward to talking with all of you more about that in the coming weeks. It will also be Dragon's 50th flight to ISS, so a good round number to end 2025, if you ask me. It remains an honor every time, for me personally, but on behalf of everyone at SpaceX, to launch missions like these, to not only help all of us to continue to reach beyond the stars, but to inspire generations of astronauts, engineers, and more in the future. So thank you to Crew-11 and all the crews that have gone before for making that your life's work. And huge thank you to all the teams here on the ground as well, JAXA, Roscosmos, NASA,
the 45th for your partnerships as we prepared once again for a mission together. Go Crew-11 and Godspeed on your mission.
Thank you all. We're now going to open up the floor to questions to media in the room and over the phone. As a reminder for those joining over the phone, you may press *1 to ask a question. But let's start off first here in the room. We'll go to Marcia Dunn right over there.
Hi, Marcia Dunn, AP. For Ken and maybe Sarah as well, 19 successful human space flights for SpaceX. But Starliner showed that that's not always the case, and more people are urging NASA to try to come up with a rescue plan, an independent spacecraft, or some kind of joint effort in case things go wrong and there's not a space station safe haven or some other thing. Is NASA giving any consideration to that, and maybe SpaceX has got something in the works too? I don't know.
So the topic of crew rescue is something that we do think about. We always like to have a backup plan, but when it comes to being able to rescue every single crew on every single mission, having a backup plan like that would be, number one, expensive, and two, risky, right? You'd have to have a vehicle ready to go somewhere in a hangar. You'd have to be able to roll it out pretty quickly, get it launched into just the right orbit, and that could be highly risky in itself. But something that we've had a chance to talk about with our partners from Roscosmos is the potential for maybe someday being able to rescue each other's crews or providing support. I know on my mission to the International Space Station, I came home in a Russian spacecraft, and that wasn't really planned. We were able to do that because we had a strong partner that had a vehicle there to bring me home and the rest of my crew when the shuttles were not in the best situation to do that. Apollo-Soyuz, that mission 50 years ago happened largely so we could demonstrate the capability to meet up in orbit and potentially someday do a crew rescue. So I would love to see those kind of discussions continue. And then if we got in a situation where a spacecraft from any of the countries that fly in space now happens to have a problem, and one of the other people that has that capability have a spacecraft available, they would be able to help each other. I think that's the kind of the first step, is just to have that capability to be able to come up and assist each other.
Yeah, nothing to add. I just want to say we stand in solidarity with all the companies, not just Boeing, but every company that's daring to do this hard thing, right, of making space accessible to many. And so that's an important work, and we want to live and work in a world where there are many companies, many nations that have access to space. So we're rooting for our friends over there and any other companies that try to do this hard thing alongside us.
Thanks. We'll go to Irene Klotz with Aviation Week.
Thanks. Irene Klotz with Aviation Week for Ken. Speaking of backup plans, in 2 months, if there is not a fiscal 26 budget for NASA, is the agency planning to do what it traditionally does and with a continuing resolution continue your existing funding levels, or do you have some contingencies since there is such a big difference between what the administration is proposing and what Congress in its early steps have pro-offered?
So first, thanks for helping with my opening remarks, giving me some ideas in the parking lot on the way in. But second, yeah, we have a big range between the president's budget request and what we see in markups from the House and the Senate. What we'll be doing over the next couple months is working with our representatives both on the Hill and over in the executive branch to see if we can get some guidance on where we'll fall in that spectrum, right? The best thing is when we get alignment between the executive branch and the legislative branch. That's the easiest thing for us because we have one plan to work from. And so we'll be working to do that with them. And everybody's sensitive to how challenging it is to run a human spaceflight program when you have uncertainty about exactly how much you have available in the way of resources. And then our program managers, they can tell you they're having to think about what they might do at the lower levels and what they might do at the upper levels. And we're sort of looking at the full range, kind of aiming in the middle to make sure that we're ready when we get to the beginning of the fiscal year.
Thank you, Ken. We'll go to Manuel Masanti right here.
Thank you. Manuel Masanti from Exploración Espacial. Question for Dana. You mentioned some of the activities that the crew is going to perform after docking. I wonder if there's any EVA scheduled for them during their stay?
That's a great question. We do have an EVA we'd like to do. So we've got a little bit of work to do outside to cross-tie some of our power systems together. This is what I'd call get-ahead work that puts us in a good configuration for station's end of life, helps with redundancy. It will really depend on where these visiting vehicles fall. So I may have windows in between some of these cargo resupply vehicles, but if those flights shift, it'll cause a problem. So the goal is to be able to fit in a spacewalk between now and the end of the year. I'm not exactly sure where those slots will really be.
Thank you. See Will Robinson-Smith right here.
Hi, Will Robinson-Smith with Spaceflight Now. Thank you for taking the time. Maybe tying in the budget question with the spacewalk and visiting vehicles question. If the budget happens to trend more towards what the administration is proposing versus what Congress is, does that impact which vehicles are able to visit when to the ISS? Like, will the HTVX still stay on its course as well as Progress and Cargo Dragon and the like? Thanks.
It's a great question. If we're down at the lower end of the range, I won't see any changes to the fall schedule. I mean, we're in, I'd call that, we're really in execution time frame at that point in time. But the types of things that we will consider is flight cadence after that. So I'll be looking at next summer, 27, and we may be looking at moving flights and spreading them out to help with gaps. But none of that will affect what I'm doing in the short term for the end of the calendar year. There are things I could do in terms of trades for what I put on the vehicles. So the manifest itself could be affected. I may choose to go more heavily with food and supplies versus an area like research, depending upon what I think I'm going to have in the future. So those are things that we'll have to adjust. The HTVX vehicle itself, as Kawasaki-san mentioned, it's got a number of upgrades, and so it's got very large cargo carrying capabilities. So it's now a critical vehicle for us. They're planning to fly about once a year, and so that's really critical resupply. And so we're not planning any changes to that. Those are really important missions.
Thank you. We'll go to Bert Dyke right over here, up front.
Hi, Bert Dick from the National Space Society. My question for Dana is, with the 25th anniversary coming up, is NASA and the international partners planning anything to celebrate this as such an important milestone with people learning to live in space, science, technology, and we're happy to help spread the word.
I love it. I love the enthusiasm. We have no shortage of ideas for what everyone would like to do to celebrate. In fact, I was talking to some of the Expedition 1 crew. Of course, they'd like to come back. Everyone would like to come back and celebrate. And so we're really trying to figure out where are we going to do this and how are we going to celebrate. So we have a lot of ideas. We do plan to do a number of things that allow our teams to celebrate with each other, but also are more of a public engagement to let the public kind of get involved. And so you'll start to see some of those things rolling out through this fall. I have an idea. And by the way, I will add that all of our industry partners are really excited to help us too, but that's great. I mean, it's great. There's no shortage of spirit in terms of trying to help us celebrate. So maybe we'll have to do a week-long celebration.
You should do collaborations with universities, because now undergraduates, the vast majority of them will have graduated having never known a day when there weren't people in space.
There you go. I'm going to open up an idea.
I love all the brainstorming. We'll go to Sawyer Rosenstein with NASA Spaceflight right up front here.
Thank you. Sawyer Rosenstein with NSF. Dana, you're the popular one today. In regards to supplies aboard the ISS, obviously there's a lot still coming up. Where are you at currently? Because I know there was a lot of emphasis on the criticalness of CRS-33. Is that potentially why it's going from 40 instead of 39 to get that cadence up? That may also be a Sarah question.
Great question.
Dana controls the schedule.
In general, what we've done historically is we like to have 4 months of supplies on board. And the goal is really, if you have a problem with the next mission, and for some reason that can't fly, then you can make it to the mission after that. When Northrop Grumman found the spacecraft problem on NG-22 and realized it couldn't fly this year, we quickly adjusted the SpaceX 32 mission. It was unfortunate I had to pull off quite a bit of research, but what I did is I loaded it with a lot of food and water and other consumables. That doesn't quite get me where I need to be to handle skipping a mission. Once I get 33 up there, then I'll be closer to the position where if my next flight doesn't make it, then I can get all the way to the one after. And so that's really the strategy. And so I look very closely at our flight spacing to try to understand what amount of reserve I need to have on board. Of course, if missions spread out, that means I need to have more cargo on board. So we're not quite where I need to be for my reserve numbers, but 33 will get us to what I call a skip cycle number, where I can skip a mission.
Thanks. Just a reminder for those of joining over the phone that you can press *1 to enter into the queue to ask a question. But in the meantime, we'll go to this gentleman over here.
Thank you so much. TJ Mascaro with the Epoch Times. Looking to the next 25 years, is there any update on the progress of the commercial station your commercial station partners? Are you all still very confident that we'll have a alternative, like other options in orbit before we have to deorbit the International Space Station?
So our commercial partners for the future commercial space stations are making great progress on their different milestones for their Space Act agreements. And we're excited to think that here later this year we'll be hopefully putting out a request for proposals for the next phase of that work. I think 25 years from now, we will definitely have some of those platforms in orbit. Whether we'll have them available right at the end of ISS remains to be seen. I mean, the amount of time we have available to where we're planning to deorbit ISS is pretty tight for actually getting the hardware done and launching it. But there's still a lot that can change between now and then. And as I said, our partners are making great progress. So our goal is to not have a gap between our current station and the platforms that come next.
Thank you. We'll go back to Will Robinson Smith.
Hi, thanks for allowing a second question. Realize Roscosmos wasn't able to be here given the slip in the launch date, but so maybe to Ken. Can you talk about what Roscosmos is doing as far as helping to deorbit the station coming up in 2030? Obviously, SpaceX is developing that U.S. deorbit vehicle, but how is that working with that agency and making this happen? Thanks.
Well, so Space Station was meant to be operated jointly. It requires the work of all the partners. Russia and America especially have to be able to cooperate for the deorbit. And the Space Station team, Dana may want to jump in and share some more details on this, is working together to come up with that final plan where we use Russian elements and American elements, particularly the USDV, together to lower the risk to people on the surface as we bring the International Space Station back down into the water out in the ocean.
I'll just add, the U.S. deorbit vehicle is actually designed to do the very last series of burns. And so it takes about 2 to 2.5 years to get Space Station all the way down to that point. Some of that is just drifting down naturally. We may also actively come down. The Russian segment is primed for doing all of that. So all of the attitude control, debris avoidance, anything we do actively lowering is from the Russian segment. Once we get down to the point of actually deorbiting, our current plan is to have the Russian segment do attitude control and the USDV do the actual thrusting and boost. That gives us additional layers of redundancy so that if something happened with the attitude control, you can then switch over to the USDV. So it's very much an integrated plan and an integrated solution. Part of what Roscosmos is working on right now is fuel delivery. So we've got to get the fuel reserves on board Space Station to the point where they can do their portions of this. Latest predictions are that that will probably be at the right level in early 2028, and we'll probably start drifting down in mid-2028. We got to make sure we have the fuel there and everyone's ready to go. And then the USDV will arrive mid-2029. So that's sort of the sequence of events. But as Ken said, it's very much an integrated responsibility.
Thank you. We have a question over the phone. We'll go to David Curley with Full Throttle. David, your line is now open.
Thank you very much. I joined late, but I'm guessing this question hasn't been asked. I want to know about the PAMS program. How are you feeling about it? Early, there were people who wanted to get to the station. Now we're seeing countries want to get to the station. How is it working generally, and how does it help the program or hinder the program?
I'd just like to start with that to say I think the private astronaut missions have been very valuable to us in a lot of different ways. One way that I think they've helped me as a manager is they provide more vehicles in the flow getting ready. So if we have a problem, we can switch vehicles, rotate. It gives us a lot of flexibility. But we've learned a lot about the commercial market that will support the future commercial space stations through the private astronaut missions. And so our goal is to try and continue those and keep learning, keep helping to develop the demand for the type of work that can be beneficial in low Earth orbit. Dana, any more thoughts?
Yeah, I think I would just add that I think we'll continue to see a mix of other governments with interest and also some private individuals along the way. One of the interesting things I've noted, everyone's interested in doing research, so even if private individuals are flying or other governments, and they've been able to access, whether it's other universities, whether it's in the academic field or other agencies, what they've really brought to the table is a much broader breadth of research and research interest. And so in addition to the commercial aspects of what they've been doing on the business side, they're also really expanding access to other researchers to space. So it's been great overall. Some of that expansion has happened in country. They do a lot of the flying through National Lab, and some of it has happened internationally. But I think it's been really beneficial, and I think it helps lay a solid foundation for understanding what other interest, other than NASA, we might have in the future for our low Earth orbit commercial destinations.
Thank you. We have another reporter on the phone, Kenneth Chang with New York Times.
Hi, thank you. This is for Ken Bowersox. I was just wondering, could you tell us anything about what Administrator Duffy and Director General Bakanov discussed yesterday? Thank you.
So I don't want to go into a lot of the details of the discussion, but at a high level, let me just say it was really positive. The two of them, I thought, had a great connection, and I think they started the very beginning of what can be a good relationship. And as we work with all of our partners, relationships are key. The way we talk to each other, the ability to call each other on the phone and ask questions or ask for a potential change in the other partner's position is really, really important. And so it was really exciting for me to see the potential for them to work well together. In a few more specifics, they talked a little bit about how it would be good if we could support each other in the future with the capability and standards to be able to rescue each other's crews, to be in a position to do that in the future someday, and related that back to Apollo-Soyuz. And they talked about the things that we might be able to do in the future together if the situation allows us to continue that type of effort.
Thank you. We'll take it back to Irene Klotz right here up front.
Thank you. My question's for Mr. Kawasaki with JAXA. How much did JAXA pay to cost to develop the HTV-X? And are there missions for it beyond the remaining years of the ISS?
Yes, firstly, I do not know, I'm not sure about the amount of money, budget for the HTV-X development, but I did in Japanese yen, maybe 2 billion yen, maybe. Let me check it later, and I'll tell you later. And we are going to provide at least 5 HTV-X for the continuous operation of the ISS until the 2030. And after that, we are going to use that HTV-X to the commercial space station to supply that.
We'll go to Marcia Dunn.
Hi, for Dana. You were talking about the timeline for the last few years of the space station. If you get the deorbit vehicle in 29, how long will crews stay on board? And would you reduce the size from 7 to 6 to 3? I mean, what's the thinking on how you'll handle that in the last months or so?
It's a great question. The goal would be to leave the crew on board as long as we can. One of the big risks we carry on space station is failure of boxes and components, whether inside or external. In order for the USDV to operate properly and the Russian segment, the US segment has to provide power, cooling, so we have these critical infrastructure functions that we have to provide to both sides. And so in order to keep that functional, I've got to keep the systems, the critical systems, healthy. And it requires crew to do that, whether it's going out to do a spacewalk. We have a number of critical systems outside that would require a spacewalk. So the goal is to leave the crew there as long as possible. We've talked a little bit about 3 versus 4. I wouldn't go below 3 just because for the spacewalk, you have someone flying the robotic arm and 2 people going out. Ideally, that would stay at 4, is our thinking right now. We've got to make sure that right now we've got a certain certification limit, like for the Dragon vehicle, for how low we go. So we've got a little bit of work to do with SpaceX to kind of look at that to see how low we might go. That last crew, though, will be up there for about a year. So once the US deorbit vehicle arrives, I only have 2 docking ports. And so once it arrives, I can no longer do direct crew handovers, meaning overlapping crew. And so the concept right now is we do our final crew rotation before the DV arrives. The DV arrives, the crew's with us for about a year, and then we end up with about 4 to 6 months without crew there. And we're really trying to shorten that back end time frame. It will depend on the solar. It'll really depend on atmospheric conditions, which are driven by what the sun is doing. So right now there's a range, so it's somewhere at the very end of 2030, or it could be something like January of 2031. That's hard to predict what kind of behavior we'll get with the solar cycle as we're coming down.
Thanks. We have time for one more question. We'll bring it over here to Sawyer with NASA Spaceflight.
I appreciate it. We've heard a lot about, AHTV and Cygnus. We haven't heard much about Dream Chaser. Do you have any update on where they're at with reviews and when we might finally see that fly to the station?
They're working really hard. I think everyone really underestimates what it takes to put together a complex spacecraft. I mean, you're watching it right now with Boeing Starliner. You're watching it with Sierra. But if we remind ourselves, it also took, on average, it takes 8 to 10 years for a spacecraft to get ready and fly. Everybody's hopeful they'll be closer to 6, but in reality, there are a lot of complexities, and you want to get it right? I mean, you got to fly when you're ready. They're in final assembly. They're doing a lot of tests, and they're doing what I'd call final certification work. Some of the big key areas that they're focused on is the software certification. You've got to test end-to-end all the different software functions, so that's a big focus area for them. And then they're still working on certification in the prop system. We still have some of our integrated safety reviews to do. And we're in the process with updating both of our schedules to try to understand where does that really put us. And so Sierra's working on that, and so I need to wait and just get information back from them to see where they think some of that work lines out. But we are looking forward to having them flying. They're a berthing vehicle, as you know, so that's helpful for us to have dissimilar capabilities in terms of our ports and our logistics. So we will be ready for them when they're ready to fly.
Thank you, Dana. That's all the time we have for today. We want to thank our panelists for answering our questions and for everyone who tuned in to ask questions. Crew-11 is scheduled to dock on station Saturday, August 2nd at approximately 3 a.m. Eastern Time. You can follow along starting at 1 a.m. on nasa.gov/live. Here's a look at the highlights of this historic day. Thank you, and go Crew-11.
And the closeout crew closes the hatch to Dragon Endeavour.
3, 2, 1, ignition. Engines full power and liftoff. Go Falcon, go NASA, go Crew-11.
Together we rise as NASA's SpaceX Crew-11 heads up to the International Space Station.
Vehicle is pitching downrange.
1.7 million pounds of thrust.
Propulsion is nominal.
Propelling Falcon 9 as the vehicle pitching downrange and making its way up the East Coast, and will soon join Expedition 73 aboard the orbiting laboratory.